Hey X, looking for creepy North Carolina urban legends/ghost stories.
Bump. I want to know more about the spooks in my home state. Maybe that will make the no healthcare sting less.
I, as well, would like to hear some evil happenings from North Carolina. I'm in Charlotte.
I have a family story OC for you up. It's old family history, not urban legend, but you might like. So my great-great-grandfather one day had an idea. The 5 children were outside playing, so it was a good time. He stopped whatever it was he was doing and went into the kitchen of the small family cabin. Grandmother was doing her daily chores. He stopped, quietly picked up a piece of stove wood, and hit her across the back of the head. She collapsed. Thinking her dead, he went and fetched a bottle of arsenic. He lay down on he and his wife's bed and drank it all. Mother hadn't died though. The children found her bleeding and confused. They all found father writhing in agony. He'd been unaware of the effects of arsenic. He suffered for 3 days while the family watched bitterly, heartbroken. And he died. No one ever really knew why he did it, leaving the family to wonder for over a century what went through the mind of an old mountain farmer, a man who knew the simple ways of the earth. That led him to pick up that stove wood.
In 1884, Emily Prutton bought 50 acres of land from Drive Francis Garrett in an area known as Crowder's Mountain, Gaston County. The first building to be opened on this site was Prutton Hall, followed by Lincoln Academy in 1888. Lincoln Academy was a boarding school used to educate poor and underprivileged African American girls. Many girls that graduated from Lincoln Academy became doctors, lawyers, and many other professions. As the school grew and developed, it began accepting boys. It was internationally recognized for its Christian education teachings and attracted students from as far away as Africa and France. It wasn't until 1923 that Lincoln Academy employed its all African American faculty. In 1955, Lincoln Academy was moved to Bessemer City, where it became Lincoln High School. The original building at Healing Springs was closed. 20 years later, in the 1970s, Kathleen Smiley was brutally murdered on the school grounds. Kathleen was living in Georgia, and it is not known how she came to North Carolina. Kathleen's obituary states that Wallace Charles Landford and Pickney Thompson Mitchell were taken into custody and charged with Kathleen's kidnapping and murder. They both served life sentences and died in prison. Kathleen's body was found bound to a tree with barbed wire. She was gagged with wires through her mouth and around her hands. She was also stabbed 7 times and hit on the head. Her body was so disfigured that the only way to identify her was through her school books in her 1972 Volkswagen. Her Volkswagen was found burning in the same area shortly after her body was discovered. Today, all that remains of Lincoln Academy is a cemetery. The road that Lincoln Academy was located on is now overgrown with vegetation.
I live in NC. I've got some OC for you guys. You don't need to believe it, but it's definitely true. Me and BF are chilling in bedroom. Something starts tapping the window and scaring us. It starts scraping the side of the house, a double-wide trailer on brick foundation, and it was big, strong enough to shake the whole house. It kept doing this for about an hour and kept making the sound of a small child crying. Both of us were too scared to look outside. I didn't want to alert whatever it was to our presence. This is a story from a couple years back, same house. Up on computer in old dining room, converted to computer room. Here's something rubbing against the kitchen door. It does this for a while, just making sound and rubbing the door. There's a window beside the steps that lead to the door. It's a good 11 feet in the air, since the house is on a hill. Hear a stereotypical demonic voice speak from it, though I couldn't understand what it was. I woke my grandma up and told her about it. She checked outside despite me telling her not to, but didn't see anything.
I live in Charlotte as well. I had a pretty spooky experience on Bald Head Island off the coast of NC. My friends and I kept fucking with a swamp monster we heard in a little swamp nearby where we were staying. It was probably just an alligator looking back on it, but I feel like it had to have been something more. Whatever it was moved extremely quick on land and had a really scary screech.
I'm from Seagrove, the Devil's stomping ground is nearby. The Devil's Tramping Ground is a camping spot located in a forest near the Harper's Crossroads area in Bear Creek, North Carolina. It has been the subject of persistent local legends and lore, which frequently allege that the devil tramps and haunts a barren circle of ground in which nothing is supposed to grow. It has frequently been noted on lists of unusual place names. Lore. Legends about the ring are well known in local communities. These include the disappearance of objects left within the ring overnight, dogs yipping and howling, not wanting to go near it, and strange events occurring to those who spend the night within its boundaries. It has been alleged that nothing has grown within the 40-foot ring for 100 years. Supposedly it is where the devil walks in circles on certain nights, thinking of ways to bring his evil into this world. John William Hardin 1903-1985 of Greensboro, North Carolina, journalist, newspaper editor, author, and advisor to North Carolina governors and textile executives, had this to say of the Devil's Tramping Ground. Chatham natives say that the devil goes there to walk in circles as he thinks up new means of causing trouble for humanity. There, sometimes during the dark of night, the majesty of the underworld of evil silently tramps around that bare circle, thinking, plotting, and planning against good, in behalf of wrong.